afternoon. How are you guys doing today? Man, I can't believe today is here. So let me explain. A few months ago, I did a video on the A5 Wagyu beef from Costco, and one of the viewers, Mr. Brent, he was like, why don't you come out to the ranch in Conroe and try some of this American Wagyu beef? So when I heard that, I was ecstatic. When I was little, my grandfather had a farm, so I love seeing cows and pigs and chickens and stuff like that. So I want my kids to enjoy the experience, even though it's only for one day. So we exchanged number, and we're trying to schedule a date. And it seemed like every time we're trying to schedule a date, the weather refused to work with us. So I think this is our third time rescheduling it, and the weather still refused to work with us. But we were like, you know what, let's just do it anyways. We're gonna go to Papa's Barbecue right now and pick up some sides, and after that, we're gonna head to the ranch. So anyways, if you guys are ready for some American Wagyu beef straight from the ranch, let's go. AKA Vamonos. No, good. This is it. Yes, where you want to put this? This is the side and then the drink and stuff. All right,
I'd say let's go through the back door. I just noticed that I let the cows and the horses in the front, and one of them took on the sidewalk. And so this is the temperature of the stove right now.
Okay.
And then I got a meat probe in there. And when you're doing steaks, the meat probe doesn't really work. But for like thicker pieces of meat, it gives me an idea of what we're doing, you know. Mm-hmm. So this is the short rib. This is unbelievable, the short ribs.
Wow.
I've only done this one once, and it was so incredible. Like I was waiting for a special day to do it again.
That looks amazing.
So what time you guys want to eat? About 5-ish?
We had just had lunch, so I mean, it's no rush.
So okay, super.
It's no rush.
All right.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I want to keep an eye on these, make sure I don't overcook them. Mm-hmm. And let's go. You guys want to go see the cows and the horses?
Yeah.
So we have we got 4 horses. 2 are quarter horses and 2 are Mustangs.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the difference? I'm sorry, we're not very versed.
So
horses.
American Mustangs are they're kind of like the wild horses.
Okay.
And the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management, that's the U.S. government. They'll capture them, and because there's so many of them, and they will give them out for about $100 each to ranchers and farmers or anybody can
Really?
Can have a horse. Sometimes they're hard to train because they're a little wild. Other ones make super great horses. So we've got one that's a little wild and one that's super great. We got one of each. And then quarter horses are bred domestically. They're the typical Western horse, real easy.
These are the black lab of the horse breeders.
Yeah, they're very mild and mild-mannered, very fast. So the reason they're called quarter horses, because they used to do quarter-mile races.
Okay.
And so we'll show you those guys when they come up.
Well, how many acres is this?
This is 21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of maintenance.
It's a lot of work.
And you're doing it all?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm kind of preparing long-term for retirement, so
I see.
I want to be able to do this, and I want to do more when I retire with vegetables and bees and things like that.
That's amazing.
My son comes out and helps me quite a bit, but because we just started cattle 2 years ago, we had to put a lot of money and effort into it, like all this wood fencing
And you have a full-time job?
yeah. And I'm working on a master's degree in business. Yep.
Oh my God.
Don't let him mistake you. We help.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'm the one who makes the cows hate me by giving them all the shots.
Oh no.
Yeah. Twice a year we give them vaccinations and vitamins. Just no growth hormones or any of that stuff. Most have numbers. A few have names.
So all of the black ones are the Wagyu Angus?
Yep. And that red one there he's also Wagyu Angus. So I'll give you their names. So they're all numbers, except this big boy right here, the little chunky one. He's no tag because he lost his tags. He's about to talk to us. The black and white one on the ground, that's a Longhorn.
Right.
And his name is Hobbs.
Okay.
I got him because he jumped into my pasture. And so I just went ahead and gave the guy some hay and kept him as to kind of be the mascot.
Okay.
And the red one, because he's a little bit crazy, we call him Sirloin. Outside of that, everybody else is just a number.
Wow.
Like you can see that one with the brand on the back there, 43. He'll probably be going, so sometimes we say going on the train ride. He'll probably be going to the processor in the fall. So I think out of this crew, I'll probably send anywhere from 3 to 5 to the processor this year. So it's a small, as you can see, it's small.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And I can only keep so many on this piece of property because of grass. You can only put so many animals on a pasture because they can, because they eat everything. And so some of my neighbors have let me, like my neighbor over here, he lets me cut hay, which that's my hay machinery right there.
You raised them from a baby or?
From weanlings. So when they come up, when they're off their mama, then we bring them out here.
So do you still have your first Wagyu Angus cow that you've acquired? Or?
Yeah, I sold 3 last year, but there's 5 on the property now that I got in my first group.
Okay, 5.
So those 3, one of them we're about to eat here in a second.
Okay.
My wife doesn't know the number, but it's actually, so it's sad. I was a little upset when went because he was very friendly.
Oh.
Yeah. When I met the guy his name is Don, that I work with on the cattle, when I moved here, I was like, hey, my daughter was in 4-H with his daughter. And I was like, yeah, I got this property, I got horses, I want to do cows one day. I'm still working at the State Department, but he goes, yeah, when you're ready, just give me a call. I was like, okay. So once a year I'd call him and say, not this year, but I'll call you soon. And it was about 3 years later, I called him and said, yeah, I'm ready to do some cows, He goes, well, they're Wagyu. So I just want you to know they're Wagyu and they look a little funny. I'm like,
you didn't know what it was?
I didn't even know what a Wagyu was. I was like, I'm sure they're gonna look like a cow to me. I don't know if I'm gonna notice the difference. So then I started, like I said, I was doing some business trips, and every now and then I start ordering Wagyu steak, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this stuff is incredible.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down with the Wagyu for sure, And so we made a deal, and he brought some cows out. It was about, I'd say it's a little over 2 years ago. My sons are in the business with me. Garrett and Justin, they helped me buy the first little group of cattle. Not that I really needed it, but I wanted to make it a family business, and it's kind of an investment for them.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm doing all the legwork, finding customers, and so far everybody's been word of mouth. It's all been friends or friends of friends. I think I'm gonna have like maybe 100% repeat customers this year. Yeah, everybody's loving it. Like the guys who got a quarter cow are like, man, we're probably gonna get a half this. I'm like.
Oh, so you sell them by portions as well?
Well, I usually try. I don't like to do the quarter, but I was like, I try and tell you, like, if you got a friend, like.
Oh, like group them.
Yeah,
just do a group.
Yeah, find a couple people.
That way you don't waste any or waste any.
Yeah, it's best like so it's easier for me just because when you cut a cow. If let's say you do a half, well, you could tell the butcher how you want it done.
Right.
Well, if you do a quarter, well, the butcher can't really work it out as easy for you. So you gotta talk to your friend who you're doing half a cow with, and kind of say, well, how do you want your steaks cut? How much do you want hamburger? Do you want bones? Do you want oxtail? Who's going to get the brisket? So you got to work all that out, right? Yeah. So it's just easier to get a half a cow.
Ray the Mustang.
Hey, sweetie.
I showed the sauce.
This is Mosey. She's a quarter horse. Yeah, they're wanting to know if you got food to feed them. It's all about the food.
If you want to come up to her shoulder, you can put her on. River's not happy fuzzy. She's not happy fuzzy.
I did hay for 2 or 3 years here, and because it's just all this grass, you got to do something with it. You either mow it, or you hay it, or you let the animals eat it. But when I go to mow it, it takes me 7 hours. Yeah, so I try not to mow it if I can help it.
So how long did they live for?
They could easily live 30 years, some longer, 40. There's
area is pretty regional.
This one, she's from Nevada.
Nevada.
That's where they took her off the range. And you can actually tell that, I mean, if you know how to read it. But the brand, if you see that, that says U and a S. There's a US. And then all this is like it's like a phonetics, and it's essentially like a social security number. So each one gets their own unique brand, but they all start with the US. And they're protected. Might give it about a little bit longer.
It's actually a really good day. Not too hot.
Down, okay. But you can't tell.
Hey, David.
That is not a sample. That's a whole meal.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They cut them big at the processor, so we take them to, there's a processor in Orange and another one up in Navasota. You know, it's different than the HEB butcher. They cut them big pieces, so. Those.
So how much is this? You think it's like 48 ounces or 72 ounces?
Oh, wow, that's true. I have to look it up. I think that's 5 pounds. That was 2, so about 7 pounds total.
Wow.
Yeah. Stay up in there. You know, a lot of things with grass-fed beef too. So Wagyu's intervascular fat, a lot of that store-bought beef, they feed it grain to get it really fat and get the price up. So it's grain-fed, and a lot of that's just intermuscular fat. And so as soon as that stuff hits the grill, cooks off.
Oh, okay. So that's why it doesn't hold its structure. Okay.
Yeah. So you're buying a 16-ounce steak, but in the end you're getting a 12-ounce.
Now with grass-fed, is it more lean than
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
grain-fed finished, right?
Yep.
Because a lot of grass-fed also they finish it with
Yep.
grain.
I finish these with grain if people want to. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it costs more. For me to finish those last 3 of grain, cost me $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people don't like the pure grass-fed. So, but you know, they're grass-fed their entire life except that last 30 days. So.
No, grass-fed is natural. It's good for. I mean, now I wonder with grass-fed, does it have a gamier flavor to it than grain-fed?
You know, I've heard that, and that's why you give them a little bit of grain. But that's what the lady at the processor told me. She told me you want to finish off with grain, or you're not going to like the taste. I put that much work into them, and I'm like, man, I better go with what she says. She's the one with all the experience. So, but we're going to actually take one, and we're going to do pure grass-fed.
I can try that because I've never tried that.
We're going to see how it comes out. That was a funny video you shot. I've never even had a pure Wagyu, so I don't even know what it tastes like. Huh?
It tastes like butter.
Butter?
Yeah.
These have a little buttery taste to them as well.
These are the ribeyes and the short ribs and the sirloin.
Wow, that's a Texas size sirloin.
Texas size, yes sir.
The smell is incredible right now. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it all before I start eating. Processor. Those meatballs are gonna blow your mind. I could probably eat that whole bowl of meatballs. That's about $50 worth. So I'm sold. I'll show you the freezer when we're done.
Okay.
Go help yourself, please. I like tomahawks. And I thought about having these cut into tomahawks. The one thing the processor explained to me, like when they cut a tomahawk for somebody, you get a little bit of beef, a lot of bone, you're paying a premium. But when you cut special cuts like that, it's almost wasteful because you gotta make sacrifices in other places. But for the store, they'll make those special cuts and charge you top dollar. And you're willing to pay it because you only buy like a steak or two at a time. But like when they're cutting a half a cow, they want to make the best cuts they can make so they can maximize your dollar. My friend Don went up there, and he used to be a processor, but had been trained, and he watched them cut and stuff, and he looked at some of their work just like really fast, and he thought they were doing a good job, not wasting stuff. Because how we do the pricing is, so we take a whole cow up there. We don't know how much this cow weighs. And when the processor kills them, hangs them, they get a hanging weight on the half, and they'll call me with the hanging weight, and then I call the customer and say, you know, I've already worked out what the price is on the hanging weight. And I'll tell them how many pounds it is, and they'll pay me the rest of the money. And so once I get my, you know, I forgot, I don't even remember what I charged, but it's like $6 or whatever for hanging weight. So once I get my hanging weight per pound, then the processor charges them like $1 per pound hanging weight. Let's say it's 400 pounds a half. So they'll end up paying a processor $400, and a processor, you know, they'll keep it for like 20 something days, like 3 or 4 weeks. They call it wet aging, not dry aging, but wet aging. which a lot of the stores don't do that. So they'll wet age it, and then they vacuum seal it and pack it and everything. And it's like $1 a pound hanging weight. But then you end up, after it's all cut, frozen, dried, everything, you end up getting like 200 or something pounds of beef per half, 250, 300, somewhere in there. So that's how it's hard to say exactly what the price is, and it's just really difficult to explain that to people, consumers. So you got to really find the right customer who can understand that. A lot of the people grew up on farms who are my customers now, so they remember buying a half a cow when they were a kid, their parents and stuff. So it comes out to about $9 cut and processed a pound. And I base that off my nearest competitor who does Wagyu, and they're out of like Tyler, Texas. Yeah, and they probably have a lot more than I do. Mine, you can see I don't have a whole ton, so I call it small batch mastercraft.
The ribeyes is really good.
Oh,
Really good. Yeah.
It's not these
so I've never eaten a 100% Wagyu, so how does like the ribeye and the sirloin differ from the Wagyu you ate?
It's interesting.
Well, the first difference is the Wagyu will egg. Put in your mouth.
Just melted.
Just melt. That's it. No effort.
The whole thing was like that?
The whole thing was like that.
That's because the fat is distributed equally through the beef.
What did you marinate it with? Because it's really good.
Salt, pepper, a little soy sauce.
That is it?
I love this sauce. What is this stuff? What's that stuff called? Oh, that's how do you say it?
Started cutting into
The brand or the hot sauce?
It just says hot sauce?
Hot sauce.
Okay.
The Namgyung, that's the brand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so this is definitely more like a more of an American style steak,
Yeah, you get that beef taste.
But the thing is, it does fill you up. And you're going to have leftovers for breakfast generally.
After it's cooked. It probably smelled better before.
Sirloin.
We were very blessed though, because we had wonderful Muslim neighbors, wonderful Jewish neighbors, so we got to really experience their.
I keep getting my sirloin and my ribeye mixed up, but they are both so good.
And their foods.
Did you like the meatballs?
So we invited them from Christmas dinner.
Meat eater, the
The
family.
Muslims we invited.
Are you? Okay.
And it was this exchange of culture and ideas.
She air fried them. And man, I do want to sit down and just eat like a dozen meatballs one day. And I don't even actually like meatballs. like spaghetti and meatballs, the big ones, I don't like them at all. This hamburger beef, you can do so much with it. It's incredible.
I mean, it is bad.
Oh my gosh.
YouTube and social media.
I love this. It's just not greasy, right? I mean,
Not at all.
Oh, you don't even think about it till you're finished eating.
I probably eat a half a pound of it.
I can eat this
Yeah,
all day.
all day.
I didn't get on tape, so
Oh,
I won't be biased in the video.
I can eat this all day.
But yeah, everything that we had was good. The short rib, sirloin, the rib eyes, the meatballs, everything was good. Oh wow, it looks so pretty here now. But yeah, I didn't want to be rude and be like stuff like that. But yeah, everything was delicious. So right now we can go feed a cow, and then after that we can go head home. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for staying to the end. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you soon. This is like what you pay in Spain, Run with the bull. Oh man, why's the bull gotta be the first one to come out? Wow, that was kind of scary. Thank you so much for inviting us here and then for this opportunity. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Enjoy
Yeah.
having you and your family over for dinner.
Yes, sir.
Awesome time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you too, David.
Yes, sir. All
Look
right.
forward to seeing more of your videos.
Yes, sir.